Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Yes, Everybody Does Have a Podcast.
Hey,
welcome.
We do.
Nice to see everyone. I know we mentioned it in the 3 other podcasts. As Farrah said, Mother's Day is upon us. I wasn't here for those 3 other potties, so therefore I'm going to mention Mother's Day briefly. Tomorrow is the actual day.
Right.
So I'm going to mention it. Sorry, Farrah. It will be short and sweet, and I have no plans. And I think that the misconception with Mother's Day is that people feel that you have to have plans, that you want to be with your kids. You do not. You want to do nothing.
I don't want to do nothing. I don't want to be with my kids either.
Yeah. I want to languish in the bed and just be like chilling. I don't want to really do much. I don't want to get up. I don't want to cook. I don't even want to pee. Right. I just want to be chilling and doing what I got to do.
I want to think of it like I just want people to like airlift me food. I just want to have like luxuries that day. Don't want to have to do much.
Aren't you going to work?
I do have to work.
Oh, sorry.
We're saying what we would like.
Oh, well, right. No, I'm going to be languishing in the bed. No.
Mothers don't even really be thinking about Mother's Day because I didn't even realize it till damn near a week of, and I had to have a lot of reminders like Mother's Day was coming up. Meaning like, because I look at it not as a big deal anymore.
Right. Right.
Oh, that's what you meant. Because I'm like you said, we've been mentioning it, so you know it was coming.
Yeah.
Also, one of the guys, sorry to cut you off, but one of the guys at work was saying how like on Mother's Day, you walk past a mom and you're like, or you walk past a woman and you're like, Happy Mother's Day. But like on Father's Day, nobody does it. And I'm like,
I think that narrative is changing. I think the narrative for Father's Day is changing. I think it's changing. I think women are more warm and nice and fuzzy and sweet when it comes to fathers nowadays. We're not as like, telling mothers Happy Father's Day, single mothers. Shout out to single moms, not to diminish your role. But at the end of the day, it is Father's Day,
right?
And we have to acknowledge the active and fathers that are there, and we have to.
A lot of them are active,
right?
Yeah,
maybe we have to get rid of this narrative that fathers are not involved, right?
That was fake, right?
That's
kind of something they're trying to push, and it's like it's not real. Black fathers are extremely active, probably more active than any other race.
That's what they say. I mean, Google it. Let's get the facts. We're just speaking off a GP, but
I need to see the numbers.
Right. Not to say that there's not they're not fathers that are not active.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is that there's a lot more that are in terms of not even just black fathers.
Yeah, all over. Right. That's what I was going to say.
I think a lot of dads, black, white, purple, whatever, get a bad rap.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we can acknowledge them on their day and say Happy Father's Day and not tell. I mean, I know a lot of single fathers. I don't say Happy Mother's Day on Father's Day. I mean, on Mother's Day tonight.
And they don't like that either.
Right.
I do have one single father that I do acknowledge because he's like the sole provider, has sole custody of the child. Maybe that's the reason why. But anyway, I think sometimes too, the guys that want to be acknowledged are weekend dads. And I'm like, really? You do? You pick up every other weekend. Hey, have a Snapchat or Instagram photo post. And sometimes that's basically the gist of the relationship too. Yeah. So that's why I think, women have this kind of like, it's a love and hate thing.
Right, but there's moms like that too. There's moms that are weekend moms.
That's the fact. Yeah.
But the brunt of the work does fall on the mother usually most of the time,
and
right?
We have the brunt of the work, but also it's like if you're not working and if you're not standing up to that standard, then you are a shameful person. Then you're looked down worse than the male.
What are you talking about in terms of like standards, in terms of like, societal standards or what have you?
If you're not doing if you're not doing the stand-up quote unquote things that they would, the checklist things that they would say, picking up your child from school, involved in their schoolwork, making sure their day-to-day is good. If you're not responsible for those things, then you're a deadbeat mom too. Right.
Well, I just think that moms have more of the burden, but sorry, my allergies are acting like the pollen is out here doing 1, 2, 3 on my ass, so forgive me. But I just feel like in general, moms always, like they say, have the brunt of the work and we do most of this stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I lost my thought. What was I trying to say? Moms do what? What did you just say?
We get the brunt of the work.
But if you're like a working mom or you're a stay-at-home mom or whatever, there's always this like shift like, mom, you work, so you don't know.
Yeah.
Or you're at home and you don't know how it is to work. But either way,
Mom
work
is a
work.
mom.
Mom is a mom, is work and work. So if you go to work, because I did both. I stood at home for a little bit and I went to work.
Yeah.
It's the same shit.
It is.
I was still stressed out.
Yeah.
I was still have to take care of mine. I still had to come home from work to do things.
Right.
And if I was a stay-at-home mom, I had to spend the whole day doing shit. Because,
Absolutely.
nobody want to walk up on you and you laying down like, you got
Right.
time.
Girl.
You wasn't that busy. The kids
Girl.
were in your eyes
You
today.
gotta prove it. You gotta.
But it's also
No, but that's how you
also
feel.
almost like you fight for rest. Because like God forbid you take a nap in the middle of the day.
No.
Right.
It's almost like you don't deserve to.
Right.
Well, that's how they make you feel as a stay-at-home mom too. Because like her, I've done both. Being at home, having kid on toe, and just doing housework all day. You're tired. That's tiring.
It's tiring to have a
They
child.
never look at it as just as hard as them going to work.
They don't realize it.
They don't realize.
No, they
think
don't.
But they
you're
don't
not
realize
lifting
it.
at work, or you're not doing this like
Right,
So
right.
I'm like, dude, I'm losing sleep. I'm running around a child all day and doing different things.
No, then you're cooking. Then you're doing laundry. Then you're going to bring the car. Then you're going to do groceries.
Yeah.
You're balancing the checkbook. Come on now.
Yeah.
You're doing a lot.
When 5 o'clock is done, you don't get to relax. They could come home from work.
Right. Yeah, because everything is done.
Yeah.
And
I'm
grab 3
tired.
beers
Right.
and have freaking.
I mean, that's so
watch-
cliche, but yeah, we understand.
But meaning they could relax and it's justified in their mind. Like, I've been working 9 to 5. Like, but I've been working 9 to
Yeah.
5.
Well, also, you set the tone.
The-
I find that maybe some women cannot set the tone, but I feel like I set this tone to do this ways certain things, and now in my older age or my older years, I'm taking a nap. I could give 2 shits if the fucking house burns down. I'm going to sleep. I'm doing what I gotta do because I'm not trying to be dead out here. Like, that's another thing. You're not trying to
can't
be
be
sick
dead.
behind.
You
There's no
can't be
such thing
dead.
as perfection. You can't chase perfection being a mother.
No.
You can't chase perfection at work. You can't balance it all. Like Oprah, and what did Oprah say with Michelle Obama on that Netflix special? She said you can have it all, but not at the same time.
Yeah.
So right now, this is my time to have sleeping and peace.
Yeah.
Not get up and be like, oh, what's going on? My kids are old enough to do shit. There's cereal there, there's water there, there's juice there.
Make it happen.
Put it in the microwave, there's chicken nuggets. Okay, bye. Good night. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
And if dad needs something, the washing machine is right there because we enable sometimes.
Yeah.
We want to have this fairy tale household. You enable certain things.
That's true.
You know?
That's a fact.
And it is guilt too.
I don't have mom guilt
Yeah.
anymore. I gave that up a long time ago.
I still have mom guilt
I still
because
do
of the
too.
hours that I work. So I'm not home a lot of the time, and it makes me crazy. I cringe.
Because you're not home.
Also because I know I want things done a certain way. And if I can't do it, and I can't control that part, it bothers me. So I know that I have a real problem with that, and I'm working on being better. But that's what that's what creates the guilt for me. Like, I can't even take the time to schedule this. What's wrong? Like, I can't even take the time to get this done.
I don't have mom guilt because my kids have a good life. Like, not for nothing. My kids are rich. I'm the one that's poor. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm the one that's giving to them and doing for them and buying them. My kids got all kinds of shit that I never had and I don't have currently. So I don't feel guilt. No, they're okay. They can make it.
I always feel like I'm not doing enough.
Well, that's something we need to work on.
I know. I never feel like every time, especially when I go, like, I'm around other moms or I see what they're doing, I'm like, damn it. Like, in my mind, I want to do it, but my body,
What's the
my
saying?
body and money doesn't allow me to do it.
What's
But
the
I know
saying,
it's
Sarah?
easy.
Comparison is the thief of joy.
It is, it
All right,
is.
then. So don't compare yourself. Even
Yeah.
But sometimes it'd be like basic stuff, like.
Like, I could do that. I could have done that. I mean, but shoulda, coulda, woulda.
But yeah, and then I have to like snap out of it because then I remember what you say a lot of times, like, oh, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
Half the things that I did for Leah when she was little, she doesn't remember, which fries me. She's like, I don't remember that. We did that, and I'm like, shit, I spent all this money on this little motherfucker, and she don't remember what the
It's
fuck
like when I
happened.
took Seth to Disney World when he was 3. Like,
Why are we
that's
doing
a
this?
joke. Like, I'm never gonna remember this ever again.
But Leah went to Disney when she was like 5. She was a little older. She went to Disney, first of all, a plethora of times, you know. But it's just like, I don't remember that. We did
I
that.
took myself to Disney when I had said I never. Every year my mom said we're going to Disney. I was like, oh my god, we're going to Disney this year. I think it's gonna happen. I would tell her feeling like, yo, we're going to Disney, son. She said we going. She said she's gonna book the ticket.
Girl, but I knew what it was. I already knew what it
Took
was.
myself to Disney with Seth. I felt like that was more of my trip than his.
Yeah, I mean,
I loved it.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, I think we all give ourselves that pressure that causes the mom guilt, and then you realize, you know what? what can you do? You can only do what you can do at one
Right.
point. And you do try to hold yourself to a perfection or one level, but then you realize I'm only one person and you have to let it go. So that's what I do, because sometimes it's too much.
It's too much. So moving on from Mother's Day, because Farrah said we done beat that horse. But shout out to the moms.
Yeah, shout out to the moms, though.
Shout out to the single mamas. Shout out to the mamas of the
All the
teenagers
moms.
graduating this year. Like my baby's graduating.
The glass to the moms.
Yeah,
To the moms who want to be moms, pray for them too.
the aunties and other people
aunties.
there who raise their cousins. Everyone.
God moms.
The dads will have their time. So shout out to them later on. It's about us right now.
No.
And it's a village, It's an extended village of many amazing women who play the mom roles for the other people who can't do it, who step up every time. Great example is my aunt who adopted my 3 cousins after my other aunt, who was the youngest, passed away.
After their bio mom died.
The biological mom passed away. That's a great example.
And she raised them.
Yeah, and she
So
was
shout out to all those mamas.
right. She was an amazing mom to them.
Everyone who's a mama.
Period.
Everybody.
Now, moving on, let's talk about thought topics. So,
Okay.
well, I'm saying it's a thought topic because earlier today I was on my cousin's podcast, Vital Check. I was there. Shout out to Vital Check.
Hey,
I was
Vital
there.
Check.
Check it out.
I was a guest there, and we were talking about DJ Critical, who's one of the hosts. Was discussing, relationships, fidelity, infidelity, and he is a single man, and he's saying he's living.
Does he have children?
No, he's a single man. He's trying to date out here, and he's saying, what constitutes cheating, what constitutes.
How old is he?
He's 35.
He's young.
Well, should I give his age? Yeah, he's 35. I don't think DJ Critical minds. So in any case, we were talking about that, and then we were talking about people coming to you as a woman, relationships. Like he's like, well, he says he's out there. He was out there in the past. He's no longer out there, but he's saying that he never had a man come up to him as a man. And I said, wow, that's happened to me a plethora of times.
But I don't think men do that though.
What do you mean?
I think that men have come up to other men as men.
Absolutely.
I think it happens more than we know.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
because I've never.
Well, you wouldn't. They're not gonna.
But they're not gonna
tell you, look, Farrah, you know what I did the other day?
Right.
It's embarrassing.
No, but even like through someone else, I've never heard somebody say a man came and checked them. Like, yo,
I've heard it.
I've heard men who to go and check on the good-looking other guy, like, hey, how you doing?
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Like you messing with my girl type. Thing.
Oh, that's what you meant? I thought you meant like, hey, how you doing?
Oh, trying to check for him. Check for him.
Check for him.
No,
Like you messing with my short.
Oh, I've heard that. I've heard that.
He said he's never had a man come to him as a man. In other words, like, how someone comes to you as a woman. Are you messing with my man?
Oh.
The cliche term.
I totally had it all off.
So then we were discussing that, and I was like, well, that's happened to me. I mean, more times than I can count, right? And then my cousin was like, that's never happened to me. So I was like, was I out here thotting and bopping that I was
But you
having?
didn't know you were thotting and bopping. You wasn't doing that. You were actually
But
in
listen-
genuine relationships. With
No,
these
we
people.
have
Well, some of them.
relationships, me and my boyfriend and girlfriend, but y'all had an understanding, but you didn't know they had a significant other.
Right. That's the part.
I want to say this too. I didn't know they had a significant other, and I was already open to whatever at that time. So I was like, you know what, you do you, I do me. But I did have that fucking phone call, like, hello, this Eleanor, or Miss, who's this? Because I'm so-and-so's whatever. And I'm like, that's happened to me so many times.
Really?
It's like, it happened to me a few times too.
I mean, at least 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
But
I'll give you my story after hers.
I have to say that she has been caught in situations. Because the other day we were having a conversation and she told me about the situation. I never remember her doing this, where she's like, she blacked out on somebody, followed them to the train station. I'm like, what? Are you sick? You could have died.
That's a side conversation.
You could have died.
But I want to say, right, listen, I'm still a Cancerian. I'm a jealous.
I'm a Cancer too.
I'm a jealous. I have a lot of jealous bones in my body, and I have acted out in the past. But in terms of like someone coming to you as a woman and saying, oh, what are you doing with so and so, right? So I was
Someone did that to me too.
right, but Farrah said she never had that experience.
Oh, you never experienced that?
I've done it to somebody, but it's never happened to me.
Oh.
You came to someone as a woman.
Oh. For your man? You fighting for your man, girl?
This was past,
I know, I'm just...
Yeah,
I tried to set up a whole situation. I called the person and I was like, do you know who I am? And you're like, oh, I didn't know. I said, you didn't know? Okay. And I tried to set up this whole thing. We're going to surprise him. I'm going to have a meeting in my house. Like, person's gonna come over, and I'm gonna tell you to come over.
That's
and
so
like,
stupid.
Bah!
That sounds like such a
And of course,
setup.
in the last minute, she backed out. She's like, I don't want to do that.
Of course.
But why would she do that?
Why would she?
She don't know you from.
She don't owe you nothing.
Because at the time,
What a
I was
jerk.
a bird. I mean, I still have traces of it, but I was a bird, and she thought she was in a full-blown relationship. It's not like she was just some girl having fun. She thought she was in a full-blown relationship with the same person that I was in a relationship with for years.
Oh, I think I remember
wasn't
this
for
now.
years, but I was
Right.
for years.
You was the main girl.
Yeah, so I'm like,
So you felt like you need to check her.
like, if since you thought you were the main as well, obviously it's not your fault. Let's surprise him, like, hey, because I was young. I'm thinking like, yeah, we're gonna catch him, like, blah.
Yeah,
That
but I
man
want to
did,
say this: anybody
but
with
she
sense
copped out.
would not do that.
Right.
Right, because you don't know if this girl's gonna kind of jump you. You don't know if this
Right.
girl has malice towards you. You don't know if this girl's angry.
I agree.
So I wouldn't have gone. I would have been like, okay,
Yeah,
fucking
but that's why I
psycho.
said, but that was the only time I did it, and it backfired. And after that, I never. No.
Well, I experienced a girl calling me too. I was dating this guy. Didn't know that he had a significant woman at home. All of a sudden, after our first date, I get a call 2-3 days later from this woman like, hey, yeah, you went out with my husband? I was like, what? Your husband? Who are you talking about? And they're like, and I was like, miss, you need to talk to him. I ain't got nothing to do with that because he told me he was a single man. You're not a relevant person to me.
But what I was saying earlier too, I was like, full disclosure, like when a woman calls you or says something to you, you could say yay or nay. Like,
Right.
you don't have to be truthful. And there were times that I was messing with this man.
Right.
And I would say to you, I was not.
Right,
And
right.
I would say to you, we just friends.
Right.
And I would say to you, oh, really? I'm
Right.
so sorry.
Why did
Right.
you say that?
Because I wasn't feeling him like that, and I don't want him to jeopardize his relationship for something that I wasn't
Also,
going to continue.
You were catering more to her feelings.
I was catering
No,
more
not-
to me not being part of the situation. It worked out
Right.
for me because oh shit, your girl called me, boom, we're done.
Right.
It was giving me the excuse to be
The out.
You know what I'm saying? And it gave me the out. And also, I don't want to destroy something that I know I'm only here for
I'm
a
not looking
season.
for.
I'm not
Right.
looking for a relationship.
Right.
That's a good way of looking at it.
Right. So I was like,
Well-
why would I tell this girl the truth? And I know that I'm going to be out soon. Or why would I tell it? First of all, I didn't really know it was that they were that serious because it was like, oh, we're not together. The same bullshit men say, lies and propaganda.
Girl.
So I was just like, okay. So when she called, I wasn't surprised because I kind of knew they were still together.
Yeah.
But I wasn't going to jeopardize because I could tell that she loves this man. You know,
Right.
and I mean, I
Don't
was.
you feel? Well, I guess not, because I would look at it as like I'm gonna save you. Yes, I was with him. I did not know, so you can know what's up, what kind of person you have.
No, I cannot
That's
say
how
I
would
cannot
look
say I
at
did
it.
not know because he was saying we're breaking it off or whatever story he was telling me, but I knew there was someone else around.
Yeah.
So I couldn't say I didn't know, but I could say to him, no. I could say to her, yo, I don't know what you're talking about. We're not
Right.
we're just friends. We go to school together, and I could let it go and let her be free and not let her have that burden because I knew that I was out. So what
But
am I
even though
doing?
you didn't tell her, she's still gonna have it in the back of her mind because you could just look like a person who's protecting. Because women know there's a lot of other women.
Not a lot of women don't know that. If women knew that-
the man situation, like a ride or die, like you know what, I'm just.
But I don't feel like I was being a ride or die. I just felt like I didn't want any more drama.
Yeah,
So then
I agree.
I wanted him to be with his girl. I wanted to be out of this
Leave me alone.
situation.
Right.
Right. I mean, it was fun when it was fun, but now somebody's calling me. Come on, that's too much. I wanted him to leave me alone.
First of all.
And I wanted him to. I wanted.
Because my thing is, if it's not gonna be you, it's gonna be the next one.
Yeah, but that's not my business. That ain't got nothing.
You know what?
You
'Cause I
wanted
feel like-
not to be involved in that
And I get
situation.
I can't save everybody. I can't
No,
save it.
I understand because I feel like I always look at it bigger than what it is, right? I understand why you did it, and I respect that. But I'm looking at it as like, okay, by you not telling her, right? You're protecting yourself. You say you don't want to be involved, whatever, right? Now for the man himself, he's gonna be like, oh, she protected me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, I mess with her because she's probably gonna break up with me, which usually you do, right? I'm gonna hopefully find somebody else that keeps doing that, and then every woman that keeps giving him a pass, he's gonna continue because he's gonna be like.
Girl, you digging too deep into that. That was a
Yeah,
whole
but-
fucking.
But
Wait.
Farrah, but Farrah.
Wait.
No.
No, it's not. It's true though.
That might be true. He might still
'Cause
be
he-
out
he-
there, but
yeah.
that ain't got nothing to do with you at that point. That's on her. And at this, if you have to take the point where you're reaching out and calling someone,
You already know the vibe.
Exactly, and I agree with that.
So that's
why I don't know. I would be like, yeah. I probably would still tell the truth. I'll tell
no.
what it is. I wouldn't amp it up.
But you know what?
I would deny it. I would say, this is what's going on. I didn't know. Sorry. Move on to the next.
well,
That's it.
even for me, when the girl called me, I was like, well, he didn't tell me he had a wife.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. He told me he was single. I'm sorry, miss, or whatever. Hang up, click, whatever. He calling me 5 seconds later. Yeah. So what happened? My iPhone picture. She saw a picture of me, you, and the girl at the party. I was like, yo, son, you putting me in drama. I don't know your girl. I don't even care. Take here at home. You told me that was your baby mom's, and y'all just like you said,
always.
It's a baby mom situation. Yeah. We just broke up, but she still have feelings, and
it's always a baby mother situation.
Yeah. Okay.
As you get older, you be like, okay,
right. Okay. Come to find out, they weren't married. She was just saying married to make it seem more right. But they've been together for about 3 or 4 years with a new baby, and I was like, and you sick? Stop acting. You sick out here.
Okay.
Anyway. Moving. I digress. The point is, I shut her down, and I said, don't call me anymore. Don't call my phone. Tell her not to call my phone.
Wait, Stephanie had something to say.
I'm sorry.
Wait, let Stephanie say what she had something to say.
I had to shut it down.
What happened, Stephanie? When you ready?
I remember this time I went on a date with this guy. First of all, Eleanor knows this story. I think I don't know if you remember. It's so long ago. You know how things jog your memory. I met this guy at Kingsborough, sweating me mad hard. He want to take me on a date. We go to the movies. Come out the movies. Some bitches sitting on his fucking car. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And he's like, yo, be cool. I'm like,
what?
I'm like, nigga, are you joking? So walks me to the car, opens the door, puts me in. I don't have no way of getting home.
So you got beat it like this. What's happening?
Because I'm like, what's happening? I didn't understand what was going on.
Oh my God.
He was calling me all day, texting me on me.
How did he get her off the car?
So what happened with the car?
Yeah, that's the part I don't remember.
She got off the car, but she sat on the car. She was sitting on the car still while he opened the door and let me in. So I'm thinking like maybe it's somebody he know. I don't know. I was naive. Okay, I was very young. I think at that time I was like my freshman year of college. Mm-hmm. Anyway, they start arguing. I'm like, she comes to the door to open the door for me, my side door. I'm like, wait, I gotta fight now. He runs to the door, speeds off. She fucking starts chasing us.
But she wasn't gonna make it
in a car.
Oh, in a car.
We're leaving the movie theaters. This is when there was that movie theater on Linden Boulevard.
Yeah,
over there,
it's still there.
I was like,
a lot of drama happened in that movie
over
theater.
there, he's spinning. He's going down these side streets. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I'm like, yo, take me home. He's like, nah, I can't right now until I lose her. I'm like, what? He's like, oh yeah.
He's done this before.
He's like, oh, that's my ex-girlfriend. She's crazy. We were together for like 8 years. I'm like, 8 years? I'm like, yo.
You're like, leave me alone.
That's what I'm saying. But dudes be putting you in these situations.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, this is a joke, right? Like,
Yeah, but
I felt like I was like getting punked.
But that's why I was so shocked when I'm shocked when other people say they never had no one call them, because I'm like, to me that was a normal thing. And I mean, I'm ashamed to say, I guess it's not a normal thing,
it's
but
not.
Sometimes
it shouldn't be, at least.
It shouldn't be, but I was just like, wait, no one ever called you as a woman? And my cousin was like, no. I'm like, oh God, maybe I was too much thotting and bopping, or maybe I don't know. But a lot of the time,
no, because I was going on one day. I never knew this guy. I didn't know him from the hole in the wall, and I was so reluctant to go. And I said, sometimes you really have to listen to what your spirit says. I'm like, I'm just gonna go. I'm bored, and then that ended up happening. And I was like,
but what kills me is the guys who lie about it. The woman calls you, whatever. And let's say you do tell the truth, and then the guy tries to show up with his girl. Tell the truth. Tell her I wasn't messing with you. Whatever. And you're looking at
that happened to me. It was a 3-way phone call. Right, he was on the phone. He was like, right, we wasn't together. I'm like, in my head, I wanted to say, I didn't say it out loud, but I wanted to say, am I on a 3-way call?
Right.
So, but I was just like, yeah, we were together. Oh, right, we didn't do this. I'm like, yeah, we did do this, because you on a 3-way call and now you're trying to play me.
Right.
First of all, I knew the vibe, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. But the problem was with you that you didn't know the vibe, and you probably thought that I thought it was more than it was. I could have cared less,
right,
to be honest. And I don't know why I was so like, but he called me and I was just like, oh yeah, we were together. Oh yeah, and she's on the phone, and I know she's on the phone. He was like, no, I didn't care about you. I said, okay, I didn't care about you either. Like, we wasn't, is what it was. But the fact that she was on the phone made me even want to say more shit that probably didn't happen to me.
Right. Or exaggerated.
This just brought back a bad memory. I remember with my original, my ex-boyfriend, and I remember it was a situation.
Clearly your ex.
Yeah, that I caught him cheating, but it was his cousin, right, who I was very cool with, who told me. So I finally confronted him about it, and it's funny. Me and his cousin went to school together, and her boyfriend at the time that she was dating was a guy that we were very cool with. We were young. We were probably like 18, 17. But this guy, he was one of those guys, like, he's handsome, cute, he's a street dude, but he would put his hand on you. So I remember she told me about it. She told me that he was cheating. He got so upset right then and there. He called her and said, why you lied to her, whatever, you know, saying that was cheating, whatever, which was a lie, obviously.
Wait, but you spilled the beans, son? You told her, you told him it was
okay.
her?
No, because I told her. She said it's fine, whatever, you could say it's me, whatever.
Wow, you're an informer.
Because it was like out in the open, because he did it in front of her at the time, right?
Yeah, so I feel like that's fair game.
That's
if you're gonna do something in front of me, in front of other people too, that means anybody could come back and say something.
Because she felt like, who am I gonna give my loyalty to? You know, because she loves her cousin, but like I said, we were very cool. But this is how trifling men could be, and I never like now I'm like, this thing was edged in my head. So he calls her. I'm in the house with him. He calls her and talks to her, whatever, and she's like, yeah, that happened, whatever. And then he speaks to the boyfriend, right? Because the boyfriend was there. He was like, yo, what's going on, whatever. And he's like, yo, your girl, whatever, lied on me, whatever. And he's like, what? You told her that, whatever, and having a whole now they're having a full fight, her and her boyfriend.
And the boyfriend is physical. He puts hands on her.
He started beating her while he was on the phone with my boyfriend. And I was like, what the hell? And you could hear her crying and screaming. And then my boyfriend at the time was like, yeah, fuck that, whatever. And I'm like, I was just like,
that's why you should have said that. You should have said
girl house.
But I didn't think he would like.
Why not?
Because my thing is, I've never seen
but wait, how gullible is he? How gullible does he think that you are? That you would believe that he wasn't doing it?
That's the length. That's how he wants to show. This is how I'm not lying. I'm telling you that I didn't cheat on you.
But there's some men that will tell you. Yeah, there's some men that don't go that far.
Wow, that was like the low, and I felt like after that, I looked at him differently. I was just like,
oh, but you were still with him though.
Maybe a year.
Okay, well, how different did you look at him?
But I just looked at him different, like, okay, but that's when I knew he would do anything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He would take the risk to do anything. Because I'm like, you could sit here and you know you lying to me, and then you have your cousin getting beaten. This is your cousin getting beaten, and you amping this man on to beat your cousin just to prove that you're not a liar.
There's some men that will lie on their mama. They would lie on their mama's grave and be like, for
But
that.
the takeaway is that apparently it worked because she stayed for another year. That's the takeaway.
When you're young in love and you're thinking like, all I have is him. You know what I'm saying? Because especially when you're a teenager, you think that's everything.
Well, speaking about being young and in love, I know all of us have saw Queen Charlotte on Netflix.
I haven't seen it. Please, I can't.
Oh well, sorry, Stephanie. We're gonna do a brief overview. I know you worked the dog.
I only saw snippets of Raffaella watching it, and then I was like, "Is that the Queen?" And then I realized, I picked up very quickly because they cast it very well, so I could see, and she carries the same demeanor and
the same aura.
I love Bridgerton. You know, I love it, and I've been on top of. That's the only series that I've been on top of. So as soon as I saw her as a young version of her, I was like, "Oh, that's they're playing this whole queen role."
Right.
I guess they're telling her story, which is amazing, and I love that they're showing a real young black queen, which is really beautiful to me. Yeah. But I don't know the story, so I don't want to talk about it.
Well, I'm not going to tell you the whole story, but
don't tell me the whole story.
You know, in the series, sorry, like I said, my allergies is kicking. In the series, she's 17 years old when she meets the king, right? So that's like a teenage love. That's like a love. And
7-10 years.
7 and 10 years. That's what she says. It's a love. But also, like when you Google it a little bit, I was going on Instagram, going on a rabbit hole, going on the Google rabbit hole. Queen Charlotte was rumored to be actually in real life of Moorish blood. So she did have a little bit of black in her originally.
Yeah, but that's what they say in the story. Oh, okay.
Right, but you know.
Right, you thought it could have been, it's fiction, but
right, the story is
real
fiction, but depending on some fact. So we don't really know what's what.
That's
and maybe that might not have been a thing that people knew. I always knew that King George III was considered the Mad King, right? That's something that I knew from history, but I didn't know that Queen Charlotte may have been of black descent, right? But that's not the point. The point is that it was this love story. It was an amazing love story. And you know, when you're young and in love, it's like, it's enthralling, right? It's like, oh my God. It's like, it's
life or death.
Right. Yeah. It's so nice to see, like, as we get older, we kind of lose that like being enthralled by someone, being like obsessed.
Really?
Yes.
I miss young
Because you're no longer jaded.
Yeah.
You're not jaded when you are jaded as you get older.
Yeah, you're jaded as you're older, right?
Right, and then when you're younger, you're not jaded,
Yeah.
and you trust and believe what this person is saying to you. This man in your life, being your first love, your first. Hopefully, most of us has positive first time sexual encounters. I know some of us haven't, but hopefully you did. And you look at this person and think they will never harm you because they treated you with such care, and then come to find out, there's like 18 bitches in the background.
Right.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And
that's a fact.
And that's what happens. That's what jades you. But it's just so nice to see. You didn't see Queen Charlotte, so we won't get into the details. But I will say it's a love story for of all love stories. Like, it's a really, it's her passion, his passion, the way they loved each other, the way they felt for each other.
One of our friends crying, I was like, wow, this must be a really...
I mean, I cried too because it's also a lot. It touches on a lot of things,
There was some parts that touched
your
me,
vows,
what
till death, till death do us part, and
the loyalty touched me the way that.
But it's in your vows, right? Richer or poorer. What is it? Through the sickness and health. You know what I'm saying? And
Even though she wanted to leave a plethora of time.
Yeah, she wanted.
Still fought for the love, and it made me feel like I don't think men love like that, or they don't express love like that.
They just
anymore.
don't express
or then
it.
maybe we just watch so much movies, and this is what we expect. So when we don't get that or close to that, we're like, maybe the average, person who actually loves their wife, whatever, doesn't say like, because like some passion. Like, that's why I say I miss young love, because I feel like young love, that's when the dude was crying like, I love you, like things like that.
But it was also OD toxic, because
it was OD, yeah,
absolutely,
right,
definitely.
OD
but I just
toxic.
feel like you don't see that passion. I haven't seen that passion as much in men on like an average man, like really giving the. I'm gonna
the only time you see that passion, the only time you see that passion is when they cheating and they get ready to leave.
No, you also see that passion in domestic violence.
No, but we're not talking about that. We're not talking about toxic.
So that's the passion you talking about, because that's when they
that's toxic. That's toxic. That's toxic love though, because that's not
some of that young love is misdirected too, and in terms of how they act and even the passion part of it. It's misdirected. That's not good.
I want to say there's a difference between like domestic violence and we're not talking about that.
Yeah.
Because I have had relationships as a teenager with people that they may have done things that was wrong, but they weren't abusive or harmed me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They on their knees boo-hoo-hoo crying because they did something wrong.
and they want to be forgiven.
And they want to be forgiven. Exactly. But with something like Queen Charlotte, he's crying because he loves her and he wants to be with her.
Exactly.
And he feels like he cannot because of whatever he has going on with himself.
Protecting her by
by being distant.
Right. Right. So when it comes to that, like, have you had a relationship with someone that's so deeply in love with you that he's crying because he doesn't want to hurt you, or he's crying because he's so happy to be with you? Have you had that experience?
I feel like not as an adult. I know the person not expressed that way. Like you feel like intuition, like, okay, I know this person loves me or cares for me. But with that type of passion, I haven't seen that since teen years, and obviously was tied to toxic. But this one that's not tied like that, I haven't seen that. I only see that on TV.
Right.
And it's just like, does this not exist? And TV just elevates it like everything else. And I'm thinking, oh, a man who loves me is going to do this. Because now we see men who, by showing that they love you, is them maybe doing a nice deed or getting you gifts, right? I feel like that's what's been circling around these days. Like, I know he loves me because he didn't leave, or I know he loves me because he actually cleaned, he mopped the floor.
No, I don't.
But I feel like
Are you saying that our standards are lower? Are you saying that the standards in 2023 are lower?
Because it's almost like, I feel like we're being told we're delusional when we start thinking we can get those type of loves that we see on TV.
Right, all consuming.
Yeah, like
enthralling.
Like just my husband waking up saying, "Girl, I love you." Like, I love you. Like, when's the last time you say that? Most of the time you hear "I love you" is when you say, "I love you, babes." I love you too.
No, but
if you don't say it, maybe in the next few months.
Well, it depends on the relationship. I can say that Leah's father. I can say that he says he loves me, right?
Yeah, but we know that. But I'm just saying, like, just coming out by themselves all the time to say it as much as women do. Like, we keep it going because the show, to keep things warm. Like, I love you. Like, when me and the father of my children at the time, before we had our breakup, we used to say I love you. Just but of course I have it. Like, when he leaves, I love you. Have a good day. Or I love you. Whatever. Right. But I think it was just automatic. You're just saying it as part of.
You mean after a while it became automatic?
Yeah, but I'm talking about the times like sometimes you look at your man like I love you.
A lot
just
of things.
The passion. I feel like men. I haven't seen it. besides IG.
I think it goes both
I
ways.
think a lot of things also
seen it.
become routine after a while
Yes,
when
of
you've been
course.
with somebody for some time.
Right.
The passion, I think it's that energy becomes different now. Now the passion
But this
is like,
is
when
why-
they rake the lawn and you're like, you didn't have to tell them. You're like, oh my God, look at my husband. He's doing his thing.
Oh,
He
man.
puts some gas in the car, or he gets the car.
When he
fixed and
puts
you have
gas in the car, I'm so happy.
Yeah.
Like
That's
that,
what I'm saying.
and that's
That's
fucking
the
sad.
small
I shouldn't be
thing.
happy because you're doing. Nigga, you was driving this shit. Why I gotta be happy? But that's the small thing.
That's what
Right.
I'm saying is they're doing it by certain actions. So are we delusional in the sense that we thought, or maybe we were raised to think like a man who loves you, besides a man who really loves you,
I blame
besides-
Disney fairy tale.
Goes
besides-
above and beyond.
goes above and beyond, and actually expresses it in a passionate way.
Well, this is
not
what I
just
blame, Farrah.
showing.
I blame Disney movies
Yeah.
for us having this idea of romance. And if you're a Latina, I blame the novelas. Because they be going hard in those novelas. son.
Novelas go hard.
They
And
go
I don't
hard.
even know what they saying,
But
but I
they
can
go
watch.
hard. So when you grow up watching that and you're like, oh my God, this is what love is going to be like. It's
Yeah,
going to
like
be,
you feel it.
he's going to be obsessed with me and I'm going to be obsessed with him. And then
But it
doesn't
all
turn out
stems
that
from
way.
like possessiveness. I feel like
Right, it can
those
be.
type of things.
It can be. Things could be. It could be.
Yeah.
Sometimes as young people, we feel like being possessive or jealous over your mate is love, and as you get older, you realize that's not the vibe. Right? You don't want that. You try to work on not being JLo or not being possessive because it's weird and it's toxic. Right?
And I just think it's growing too, because when you're young and love, the guy's kind of following suit of what the women's saying and doing. So they're thinking, oh, I love you. Like, they got to do all these things. And I guess as they get older, they realize, I don't have to do all that. The only time they really express love is in fear. Like, I may lose my partner, so I got to do all this. But on an average day, they feel like, as long as I'm there,
Right.
I'm cheating on her, throwing her down the stairs.
Right,
She knows
but
I
in
love
all
her.
fairness, like we said, we can't be jaded, right? You can't. You definitely
Yeah.
sound jaded, Farrah. Not for nothing,
And
but
so I'm missing love.
Right.
I'm realizing, like, especially when I was speaking, I'm like, maybe I was just delusional. Like, it's what we see on TV. I'm
Right.
thinking I should get that once in a while. I'm not saying every day he's supposed to wake up and say, you are the moon and the stars. I'm not saying that. But
Do it again, let me see.
Yeah, you are the moon. And the stars.
right,
But I'm
right.
just feeling, at least once in a while, give that, oh, I love you.
I think
But
we
you're
were.
right, I feel like as adults, it only comes in fear of losing you. And that's
Or like anniversaries, or maybe gifts,
Yeah,
or
it's just
whatever, you
gifts.
know.
I feel like gifts or doing acts of kindness.
Well, I mean, I was going to say that I think sometimes also it comes from your childhood, because I think a lot of the adults used to say, you know, when you find a man, you know, the man's supposed to love you more than you love him, or you know, or they're going to show you, you know, you're like, oh, okay, let me wait for it. And you keep waiting.
You're like, wait a minute,
When is this happening? What type of how does this guy gonna look? Like, what do you mean he's supposed to love you more than you love him? And then you're like,
And that's the thing that I think that our parents. I know my mother told me that, right? And I think that's the thing that our parents said that because they didn't want us to have the same hurts that they had or the same problems that they had. I mean, I was fortunate enough to have a great father and an ideal relationship to look at. You know, when my mother and my father, to me, they could do no wrong. To me, they were in love with each other. To me, it was like a perfect relationship. Yeah. My parents never fought in front of me, so I can't sit here and say, oh, they were toxic. I don't know what happened behind closed doors, but that was the ideal that I had, and it was a very high standard. And as a child, you put that in your head, and then you put it up a few steps higher because of your parents. You know they can't do any wrong. So when you're in a relationship, you're like, damn, this guy. You think this guy's gonna be like your dad, but you're like, this man is nothing like my father. Right. My daddy would not do that. But you have to check yourself and say, well, you know what? He's doing things in his own way, right? He's doing things for me that I appreciate in his own way, not how I would like it to be done. But he's there for me. He's supportive of me. He teaches me things. Yeah. He takes care of me. He nurtures my children.
Right.
So then those are good qualities. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you do want to wake up to that, like, oh baby, you know, like.
But there's some things that I do.
But then guess what? I don't mean to interrupt. If he does that to me, oh baby, I love you. I'll be like, the fuck out of here, right?
Yeah, it's
like,
funny. It's funny
because it's been so long.
I just think that, like, oh, get away from me.
It's
you know
too
what I'm
much.
saying?
It's too much.
It's too much, and I think
that's our New York side too. You're like, oh my God, come on! And I'm dying right now.
Right.
I say it's too much.
Right.
It's been to a place like
what are you doing?
It's awkward. It's awkward.
But it could be genuine. It could be genuine, but just because you're so born and bred being a biatch, you're like, the fuck out of here. Why are you doing that?
Thoroughbred.
like,
Right, what happened today? What's wrong with you?
Yeah,
Love you
yesterday
today?
you was cursing.
Remember when Carrie fell out in the McDonald's with Alexander Pokrovsky? Tried to feed her the French fries, and she was like, "Oh my God, it's too much. I'm a New Yorker. You're a Parisian. Like this is too
he
much."
started looking at her like,
And he's like, I do this on a regular."
No,
Right.
And remember when he was trying to read the poetry to her? That,
Right.
that part too. It was like, and I think those things are very nice and romantic, but for me too, it's too much.
But it's too much because
You're not used to it.
right. So we can't have it all, right? Because we're talking shit saying why we don't have this enthralling romance, and then when they do certain things, you're like, "The fuck is wrong with you?" So, but I also feel like it's who's doing it, right?
Right.
Exactly.
And I feel like if it's someone that you like and they doing that shit, you're like, "Oh yeah, you know?
Right.
But after a while,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
if
Oh,
you're
yeah.
in it for a multiple amount of years, it's gonna be a different vibe, right? But when you feel like that person not eating the French fry thing, you would have been like, hell, you would have been fucking yamming them fries.
Hello.
You'd have been like, "Come on, give me my French fries, Bill.
I'm ready for my
I
next
want my next fry. Dip it in the sauce." Like you would be mad hype.
But
Yeah.
you know what I think it is
Nah.
too? I feel like when parents gave us that statement, it's almost like you had to settle because the guys that you were really hype about, most of the time probably wasn't always hype about you, but the ones you like vague and you're like, oh, is the one that's like, and
that's gonna
what-
treat you good.
Yeah, and those are the ones that usually probably would have treated you good, but you're not attracted to them or inside or outside. But you hear that voice like, you better be that's the one,
Well,
that's the
bring-
one, whatever, and then those are the guys that are probably gonna do those nice romantic things. You're gonna look at them like,
He
thank
corny.
you.
He corny.
yeah,
I will-
And he's not corny. He's the good one.
yeah,
Right, but
because
what
the
else-
ones you really hot for, they looking at you like, girl, we have an hour because I have
And
9 others.
and
that I wanna
then
do
no,
that. So when
because
you
they
want
like
them
the
to do
hot
it.
girls too. The hot
Right.
girls that don't like them.
Bringing it back to the thought, and then calling someone to as a woman and whatever those phone calls you get, and connecting it to the whole Queen Charlotte and the connection that she had with the King George. You could always say that the reason why a lot of infidelities occurs because you are chasing that feeling, right? A lot of people are chasing that feeling of I can't breathe without this person, or
I agree.
and then and then when that
The
feeling, excitement, or that feeling of like euphoric, because it's a euphoric feeling,
Yeah, or
right?
that the initial feeling from the beginning of when you first met your person,
right, and how that felt,
because that it fades.
right?
So when you start, like you said, messing with someone else on the side, sometimes it comes back.
It brings
It brings it back. Those
Exactly.
feelings.
Yeah,
You're like,
exactly.
ooh, excitement.
Sometimes it does, but like sometimes it's just the person too. Because I've been in situations where I've been with somebody and then I've been with them again, and it was better than the first time.
Well, that too. But that's different.
That's different. That's
different.
not what we're
Because they're not.
Or like they've grown and we've grown and it's different and it feels different. And it's a different kind of energy than I had from the first time that we
Right, and well, that sounds like love.
right, right.
That's what that sounds like.
But that's the truth. But people have to understand when you're in a long-term relationship, you cannot just be idle, right? You cannot let things die. You have to be with your partner. You have to be out with your partner.
Spend time with them.
Not just in the home,
Right.
but outside of the home, doing things together like when I first started dating. Because a lot of things happen. First thing happens is if you're not around each other all the time or not doing things together as a partnership because things fade, someone has the ability to creep in. You know what I'm saying? Because people
it's a
are watching
disconnect.
people watch what you have all the time. People are watching, you don't even know who's watching you.
Right.
And they're like, oh, she's still with him. Oh, she looking good. Well, blah, blah, blah. And if you give off any kind of energy, that person's going to come and be like, so what's up? You know what I'm saying? Because they feel that. So that's what happens when you're not trying to keep it going. And it's hard to be like once again mentioning Oprah and Michelle Obama on the Netflix special. She was saying some of these young people feel like if something is too hard they don't want to do it, they give up, and some people saying, well, I can never be, because she expressed that she had 10 bad years with Barack, right? And she's like, well, some people are saying they could never, even on Instagram, I could never have 10 bad years, you know what I'm saying? And the reality is, okay, it may not be 10, but you're gonna have some bad years.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not gonna be perfect.
And that happens with all relationships
Right.
across the
I
board.
have 12 bad years, 15. There's people that have been married 75 years.
That's a long time, Stephanie. How long they been together? Who been to get married?
I was 15.
Well, that's the
There's
50 years.
elderly couple that I follow on Instagram, and they kind of give like advice about, they said the first thing, like when they first got together, it was trust. The second thing was loyalty for each other. Then it was building a friendship, because sometimes you don't even know who you with. You out here dipping and diving. You gotta work 8 hours. You taking care of the kids, and then you turn around and you like, yo, when the kids gone and they gone away to school and they starting their own life, and you turn around, you like, you out here with a stranger,
right?
Because you don't even know who the fuck this is anymore.
Well, you don't even like that person anymore.
Right.
Yeah, you like, how could I be with this person who is so angry and mean, and I'm not like that, and
Right.
the opposite, and then you done wasted 30 years of your life.
Right.
And that's why the millennials are divorcing at a high rate right now.
Right, but also that's why there was a high rate of divorce during 2020 during COVID, the
Right.
beginning of COVID, because people really found out who the fuck they was with. Oh, this person is not the one. Okay, I thought they were, but no.
But there is something to say that, okay, I'm not going to be miserable for a long time, right? There is something to that, but there also is something to, they ain't shit out there and you're striving for the same shit with the next man. You know what I'm saying?
I don't want to look at it as that, like, is no shit out there. I feel like I want to look at it like, okay, if I made a choice to be with this person, there is some way that we can work this out. There's nothing, if they didn't kill my mom, if they didn't shoot somebody that I know, if they didn't steal from me, I can work it out. It's like almost like our friendships, like there's nothing that can really tear us apart unless somebody goes to jail, somebody dies, or like.
Well, I think there's other things
well,
that can tear up.
I disagree on that.
I think if you're in a relationship or in a marriage and someone is consistently unfaithful or someone is consistently stepping out the marriage, that's going to be hard for anyone to take, man
or
or
has
woman.
another baby outside the marriage.
Don't talk about baby outside.
Those things are those are heavy. Right?
To me, those are deal breakers.
But outside of that, if it's just the miscommunication, if it's just things that are things that can be resolved, people are just fearful to really
do the work,
get to the core of it. I think they just want to tippy toe around things. They're like, oh, we'll forget about it, and no, you never forget. Shit comes up, and then 3 months later, y'all having the same argument that y'all should have had 3 months ago. You know what I'm trying to say? So that's a big thing too with a lot of relationships. Like, face it, deal with it, and move on. And if you don't want to move on, then that means, for me, I feel like you don't want to move on with this person. Yeah. Because if you're not willing to do the work to fix it,
but you have to do the work within yourself. There's that show that me and Farrah watch on Showtime, and I reference TV a lot because I watch a lot of TV. But me and Farrah watched this show on Showtime called Couples Therapy. And I think the therapist is out of Brooklyn. I forget her name, but it's an actual reality TV show. And she sits on the couch and she counsels these couples, and she does psychoanalytic stuff, right? So she wants you to look within yourself to see, why are you accepting this behavior, why are you portraying this behavior, why are you doing these things, and she wants you to look inward. A lot of the times we don't look inward,
right? A
lot of times we look outward and say, well, it's you, but we don't say to ourselves, why is this triggering me? You know what I'm saying? Why is this sock on the counter making me go off like a fucking serial killer? You know what I'm saying? Like, why am I getting so pissed about this stupid ass sock on the counter with a sock on the floor? Like, people are dying, Kim. You know what I'm saying? Like, other shit is happening in the world. Like, why am I worried about the fucking sock? You know, I'm happy that my man came home. You know, he's safe. My kids are here. Why am I so upset about that? I mean, that's sometimes you have to be more introspective. And as we get older, as I've gotten older, I've been trying to be more introspective. Like, shit, why am I like this?
I definitely am more.
I agree. I was gonna say, well, even in counseling, because I've been a part of couples counseling too, and the first thing they start telling you how to communicate, you have to go back, instead of doing the you statements, it's the I statements. Like, this is how it made me feel. Well, I feel that when you do that, because when you do start with you, that's right, straight up accusatory. You know, so we had to do right. Well, it puts the person on defense. So we had to come up with homework at times to really, and like when you had to start changing the language and how you communicate with your mate sometimes too, to be like, I didn't like it when you did that, as opposed to, you did that and it didn't make me, the energy is too different. And it's true. You still have to date your person.
I was going to say something in regards to that. I feel like now people are okay with splitting with their partners, because I know you were talking about, or you were saying that there's
giving up early, giving up.
But I think because now it's actually okay. People are not. It's not a taboo if you're not with your husband anymore, and there's so many opportunities, like women don't have to be home, so they can work and do for themselves and still have fun and go out to drinks with their girls or just date freely, because there's a lot of men who don't want to get married either, but they're willing to go on a date.
Remember the Scarlet Letter?
Yeah, it's almost like,
and you were like, even if you were a widow, that you weren't able to date anymore, like that's the most terrible thing ever.
Yeah,
but what I'm thinking too, I think people give up too easy. I want to say
just
that.
like the book, just like what Michelle said.
But I also feel like marriage benefits. There's benefits to marriage, right? And I feel like people who don't want to marry, that's their prerogative. But I feel like it has such a dark side to it. People feel like they're confined, or they're constricted, or they can't do what they need to do. Yeah. And like as an individual. And I think that if you try to work on it and just be forthright with your partner and say, listen, this is what I want to work on. This is who I want to be. This is who I want us to be together. You know, it's easier said than done, because being vulnerable, even in a marriage, is hard.
It is.
Even when you're somebody for 20 years, it's hard to be vulnerable. It's hard to cry with them, or hard to say how you really, really feel, because you don't want to be seen in a certain light. There's always,
you don't want to hurt the other person's feelings.
Oh, but there's always an image to uphold. Even if this person doesn't see you shitting, if this person seen you naked, if this person seen you at your worst, there's still inside you still have an image of yourself that you want to portray or uphold to your partner.
And I also feel like you are held to a certain standard to portray that too. Like they expect that from you, almost like to hold it together, to keep it going, to keep everything in line, and you're just supposed to keep pushing.
And I think
pushing through.
And I think that husbands do the same. I think husbands have an image or an expectation that they want in their marriage and their relationship with their friend groups, that they say, yo, my wife does X, Y, and Z. They want to brag on their wife. They want to say, well, this is what my wife does. This is what my wife does. You know what I'm saying?
Or what they don't get, like you said. Sorry.
Yeah, so like, they don't really talk about the bad. I mean, maybe they do to their close friends, but they don't want to be that vulnerable, like, so-and-so's wife ain't shit. Because they talk shit about other people's wives, believe it or not.
That's a fact.
You know, and I think that people, when they split up, they may not, the society, well, American society, United States society, doesn't see it as a bad thing, but you see yourself as a failure.
Absolutely.
Either way, you know what I'm saying? So that's the takeaway from that.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of, sorry to cut you off, men don't want to go through
ongoing theme with Farrah. Cutting people off
Always
today.
cutting people off.
They don't want to go through divorce, because they see men who've gone through divorce and they see how the women have changed when it comes to divorce, and they don't want to go through that.
They say it's cheaper to keep her, right?
Yeah.
They don't want the drama of divorce, alimony, and all of that.
They don't want to. It's like it's a fine line. They don't want to go through divorce because they experience, child support, that stuff that makes them scared. But then also they don't want to stay in a miserable relationship. So it's like a lot of men are like just willing to just date people now, because I may commit to you, but at least I'm not married. So when you get on my nerves, I don't have to leave. And if I do decide to leave, now I got to go through a divorce, and you're going to probably take half or all of my shit. So I feel like some men kind of fall into
a lot of men
too.
do think about child support and divorce a lot.
They do.
I feel like they think about it a lot to a fault.
Yes.
Like, I understand you want to protect your pockets, and I understand that you are weary of certain things, but you decided to be with this woman, and decided to have children with this woman. It was something about her that you loved and care about. Why is it that you're so afraid to give your money, not to her, because that's a myth as well, but to your children, to help her raise your children? It's not easy to raise children, not in New York City. It's a cost.
And alone.
But
and
they
alone.
Take it as personal. Some men take it
They
as
see it as them being bad fathers.
Yeah, they think like, I'm already giving you, in your mind, I'm giving you the money, or I'm taking care of my kids, and now you bringing.
That's not enough. That's not enough.
Taking care of kids, but they don't see it that way.
Yeah,
well, and I think single fathers. Let's put it.
They also create a lot of that misery too, like what we were saying, you have to self-reflect. Yeah, I don't want to be in a miserable relationship. Half of the misery is because of your fucking ass too, bro.
Right.
Half of that shit that makes it miserable when you come home with your stink ass attitude. You expecting food here, you expecting all this shit, but you ain't doing shit for me.
Right.
Okay, you don't say thank you, you don't say please, you're not nice.
Half of the time you're not paying the bills on time.
Right. I gotta continue to remind you that this person need this and need that and need that. They don't see that. They just see that because they clocking in and out.
Don't do that.
What?
Sorry.
I thought you were having
What was that?
A sneeze. I was trying to hold it.
You should just let it
I forgot
out.
what I was saying.
Sorry.
You were saying that we're being a-holes or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, half of that is because of you too. Like, let's we have to make that very clear. Misery is it's just a state of mind.
Right. And you choose to be miserable, right? Like, I know that I choose to be miserable.
Yeah, I know when I want to sit
Sometimes.
in my sorrow. and that's what I want
Right.
to do, I'd sit in it. I don't bring anybody along. Sometimes you might feel it, but I'm not bringing.
Well, I feel like I bring my husband a lot along to my sorrow. 'Cause I feel like I choose to be miserable sometimes. I choose to be a biatch, but it's okay because he has his moments too.
Right.
But you have to know that's not because of you or maybe because something is going on. It isn't always. Sometimes partners think it's directly because of them that you're in a shitty place, and sometimes it's not. And that's where connection is important. Connection is important when you figure out like, oh wait, this she's off today. What's going on?
Right.
Not that. Not because I'm wilding and going crazy that you realize something's going on, but you have to know what's going on before that. You know what I'm saying?
Intuitive.
You have to be intuitive because if you've been with somebody for mad long and you don't know why they mad or when they get mad or you can't understand it, then there's something wrong there. There's no communication.
You gotta read the room.
Yeah,
You gotta read the room.
And men, I feel like that's a man trait. And I don't want to sound like we're man bashing because we love men.
I do feel like there's a little bit of bashing
Right,
today.
but you know, we're a table of women. We're gonna have DJ Critical come and visit us.
that'd be nice.
He wanted to
DJ
come on the
Crystal,
pod.
come through.
I have a
And
list.
that's a man, and we have other men that might want to come visit us. So we can open the.
Come here so bad.
We can open the
and I was
forum.
like, and then we're gonna be mixing and matching and hopping and here and this and that.
Well, at the end of the day, for those who want to stay married or together, I do think date night is important because that's where you reconnect. That's what I was going to say. And I think maybe in our culture, or I don't want to say the black culture, but I feel like in our culture so much, I don't think we were raised to be like, date night with the parents, or the parents are going out so the kids are going to stay home with grandma. I feel like I've seen that more in the white cultures where now it's becoming more of a thing, and I don't know if that's maybe why.
Just adult night. It could
Adult
be a group-
night.
It could be a group thing.
I mean, yeah, but it's more about you and your partner. Because to me, we're talking about partnership, and I think that's a time for you and him to reconnect,
and
or you and
I love
whoever,
date night.
you and her to you and whomever to reconnect with each other. Because you lose that as it becomes routine, and I think that's what it is.
And that's like bringing it back to the
That's why I was
initial
bringing it back,
conversation.
yeah.
And bringing it back to the initial conversation. We're always chasing that euphoric feeling of first love, of
Right.
first connection, of first kindling, rekindling.
rekindling.
No, rekindling is I don't want to be kindling or lighting it up, whatever the
Oh,
fuck.
okay.
I want to start it. You know, the
Right.
first time that you meet somebody, you have that, and that feeling. You know, you're always chasing that euphoric butterflies. You know, and when you find that with your partner, and this is my man, this is who I'm going to be with, then you have to continue,
Right.
not to like try to catch that feeling because you know what they say about crackheads, and when they get that first hit, you never get that first hit again. They're always chasing that high, right? So you have to change your mindset. You're not going to chase that high, but you want this person to make you feel good. Make you feel loved. Right. Make you feel loved. And a lot of it is self-reflection. Like, what am I doing that's causing him to be this way? Or what is, once you start to reflect, and no one's perfect, right? Like, I don't do that. I'm just talking shit now, but I know that I don't self-reflect all the time. But it's a good thing to talk about and acknowledge that it's not just men are always men doing fuck shit. Women do fuck shit too, and women can participate.
And some women don't communicate clearly
Right.
and don't express themselves or don't allow themselves to be vulnerable in order to fix things also.
Right.
Yeah, that's something that I do now.
But you don't allow yourself to be vulnerable.
I'm just more communicate. I communicate more of how I feel and like where I'm at right now. Like today's not a good day, babe.
Right.
Today's not a good day. I'm struggling. I am just pushing through, and I don't have energy for anything.
Right.
So if it's a day where I feel like I'm getting some energy that I don't want, I'm gonna tell you right now, because it's gonna snowball into something else. Like, what's wrong with you? Nothing's really wrong, but it's just a tough day. It's been long. I've been dealing with this and this. Sometimes you don't even want to list everything.
Well, that's another thing too. Sometimes you don't want to say that you're in a bad place when you're in your relationship because you don't want to sound like you're being a nag or repetitive or you're always miserable,
That's
right?
also too.
So that's something that you don't want to do. But there is something.
You should still express it though.
But you have to express it because if I feel like shit, everyone's gonna feel like shit, bro.
Too,
That
sometimes even with my friendships, I realize that I'll just spill, and it's a lot of heavy shit that I'm spilling, and I don't realize that I'm throwing all of this heavy shit on this person that has heavy shit that they carry. So sometimes you do get quiet. You be like, girl, I'm just getting by.
And sometimes you get quiet and you ruminate on your shit on your own and be like, okay, and then you come back out. It's when you don't come back out that your friends got to come back and dig you out.
Right.
I'm calling you 500 times. Like, are you alive? I called you 50 times, bitch. Let's go.
Right. Well, I mean, I feel like I always say that in my group of friends, I like to call everyone to see how they're doing. If I don't hear from someone for a long time, I'm like, What's wrong with her? Why I haven't heard from her? And that's my personality. But when I'm going through something, I don't want y'all to call me. I'm very weird about that. I'm like,
she is weird.
I want my
Space.
my space, my time. I need to be alone, and then I'll call you guys. And so that's odd because I'm the first one. If something's going on, I'm like, why you ain't tell me? Why am I? But then I'm like, I don't want that right now.
Like that sometimes, not with everything, but sometimes I'm like that too, and I'll be like, I'm just having a hard day.
Right, and it's okay to have a hard day, and it's okay.
Sometimes you have a hard week. Sometimes it's a hard month. Sometimes
it be a hard year. It be a hard year. It be a hard year. I ain't gonna hold you. It be a hard 12. No, it be a hard 12 months. You be like, oh, shit, I made it
30 days. Come on. You have a nice one day in the middle of that. You be like, all right, I got one day out of here, you know. But
right.
Sometimes it's just like it's your season for you to grind.
Speaking of seasons, right? Mm-hmm. To bring it back to all of the bullshit we were talking about, relationships. What's other shit we talking about? Mother's Day, blah blah blah. Since the season is changing, we were talking about being in love and Bridgerton and enthralling. Cuffing season has come to an end.
Ending. It's done.
There's no more cuffing season. It's getting warm. It's hot out here in New York. If you're from New York City, you know the vibe.
It's we outside season.
It's outside season.
Yeah, it's hot girl summer.
It's hot girl summer.
Hot mom summer.
First of all, we're supposed to be the villains of the summer this summer.
That's why we're supposed to be out here doing our thing. The
villains.
Yeah, we the villain. First of all, if y'all ain't get into Chris Crostini's astrology
on
remix,
Instagram, yes,
y'all gotta get into it because let me tell you, he told me that I am the villain of the hot girls. I'm coming for everything.
I don't know if you can be the villain.
That's what he said. He said we're villains.
He said, example of my villain is not saying thank you, and I'm okay with that.
Oh, well, okay.
Not saying please, I'm all right with that. How I could be. That's my villain.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, he's right then. That's true.
But I know better.
Okay. Chris Christine is an IG astrologer that we like to follow.
We love him, and he
Libra.
Hi, Chris. Is he Libra?
Absolutely.
I thought he was a Gemini.
No, he's a Libra.
Oh. But he said he has a lot of things in Cancer.
So that's why we love him.
Yeah.
Either way, so cuffing season is coming to an end.
Yes.
And hot girl summer's coming to the end. Starting.
You see my crop top?
Right.
I got a crop top.
I got
one too.
See it? Okay.
Oh, I missed the memo with the crop top.
Sorry, my fupa is fupa into it, but I don't care. YOLO. So I'm saying all of this to say, right, that Mother's Day is approaching tomorrow. So, we're starting the season off, right? Even though you're a mom or you're married, you can still have a hot girl summer.
True.
You don't got to be thotting and bopping, but you can still be out with your girls, out with your husband, out with your children.
Looking
cute, looking fly, enjoying the summer because tomorrow isn't promised, right?
Yeah.
We asked for the heat.
In you.
Hello. So we asked for this little warm weather. We asked for it to be lit. So we about to be lit outside. And like I said, you could be lit however that suits you. You know what I'm saying? So in closing, do we have any advice we want to give our moms or our hot moms or, that we want to say because we're all mothers here and we've been seasoned.
They comfortable and cute.
And whatever you're doing is fine. Your kids will still make it.
Right.
They'll be okay.
They won't break.
Break. You're a great mom. You're your own great mom. You ain't gotta try to reach for the stars.
Rafi.
Doing your best.
Keep milfing.
That's right. And on that note, I don't think I need to add anything besides keep milfing and be cute. And like I said, it's hot mom summer. Even though I'm going to be bed by 10 o'clock, like my best friend Samantha says, I'm still going to be outside. Maybe.
Okay, point blank period.
She'll be outside.
Point blank period. First of all, I'm getting into my soca.
Anyway.
I'm getting into my soca fets. I'm going back to soca life. This is it. It's
all right. And thank y'all for joining us on Everybody Does Have a Podcast. Bye.